So this is video 2. Bhavin argues only a human can represent humanity in this act of atonement, as the penalty of sin required a human nature to endure suffering and death. You need a human to endure suffering and death to fulfill the curse, to satisfy, not to fulfill, to satisfy the curse of God, which is the justice of God, which is the wrath of God. Do you even think that there is no justice? Do you think that God can just wipe our sins off just like that? No, there is a divine justice. We have to pay for it, okay? As much as God is loving and all just, some people don't understand that. Why would a God who's so loving would send people to hell? Because of his divine justice. Yes, because of his divine wrath. Is it fair? You know, God hides his face from us because of sin in the book of Isaiah or Psalms. Hides because God's infinite. Now let's look at the next line. However, the depth of sin, it was infinite. Due to God's holiness, the mediator had to be divine to offer a sacrifice of infinite value. That nailed it there. That's why you need more than a man now. You need God himself, because God's holiness is so incredulous, so infinite. That's it, infinite. So infinite value, and because the sin was infinite, because God's holiness is infinite. Do you get that? Because God's holiness is infinite, and therefore when we break God's heart, when we sin against him, we sin against God's holiness, and therefore our sin is infinite. And because our sin is infinite due to God's holiness, the mediator had to be divine, had to be God himself to offer a sacrifice of infinite value. No one can make a sacrifice of infinite value. No one can be the mediator that offer an infinite value. Look at the Old Testament. The priests offer up blood, slaughter a lamb and a bull and a cow, and just, had to be unblemished lamb, unblemished cow, etc. But they are nowhere near the infinite holiness, infinite value of sacrifice. That's why that mediator has to be divine, has to be man at the same time. The only person can do that is Jesus. Jesus, as a God-man, perfectly fulfills this role. Bhavin writes that Christ's incarnation allows him to assume human nature, bear the punishment for sin, and offer a sacrifice that satisfies divine justice.